Hello everyone, welcome back to my regular watchers, and welcome to any new watchers. Thanks for clicking on to watch the video. And I've been away for a while through the winter. Well, not away, but I haven't been making videos for a while because quite frankly there's not been that much interesting to share with you. But all of a sudden we've got a nice day. Apparently for one day only we've got some nice weather. The rain's due back tomorrow. We've had some terrible rain and wind, but I just want to share some of the explosion of the bulbs that's appearing in the garden. So just a quick view around here, and then I'm going to walk up and have a look at some of them more closely. So we'll just walk up the garden and show you around where the bits. I'll come back down to this area in a few minutes. I'm just going to walk up all around the path. We've got this, you can see how the weather's been so wet and damp. I mean, the moss on the paving slabs, concrete paving slabs, I have to take it off in some places so it doesn't become too slippy. And the thing is, if I leave the moss, it starts to form a soil and then the plants seed into it. And within a few years, you wouldn't know there's paving slabs down there, it would just be plants. So let's move up to the top. So I'm walking more or less south. So this is here under the shade of the boundary wall and the trees at the bottom is the coldest part of the garden. And there you can see very clearly the compost heaps in the back now, because I had to take a tree down there that was leaning, got blown over in a gale. A big conifer that hid and screened that area from the garden. So here we have a neat area. You can see a lot of colchicum leaves, but there's snowdrops there. And of course we can see there's Eranthis, different kinds of Eranthis, or different forms. It's all forms of Hyamalis. So this is the grundling form with the green outers, not my favourite one. And then the pale ones, which are variably either Schweckelglanz or Pauline or some of the other named ones, but they're just the paler ones. Interestingly, if you let them seed around, the seed, like here, look at all the seedlings. The seedlings invariably come very close in colour to the parent. And up in this area, it's snowdrops just starting to come out, but the snowdrops go all the way up in there, right into the dark in the shade, right up in there, which rarely ever sees the full sunshine. So they're all popping up. The crocus, the snowdrops of all kinds. So let's turn and go back down this way again. This is an area I was writing about just this week in my bulb blog on. I've been trying for years to keep this area clear and keep it just gravel. But for the last few years I've been realising I'm fighting a losing battle. And why am I battling? So I'm just leaving the moss, so it's becoming almost a moss garden. Which at this time of year it's filled with bulbs. So mostly here we're seeing crocus. These are mostly Thomasinianus. There's some chrysanthus, but I've been throwing all sorts of seed. There's narcissus, there's all sorts of crocus seed. I see lots of seedlings which will develop in about 3 or 4 years' time. Hopefully we'll have a different range of different types. This is the result up here of probably a single or a couple of plants planted out, and gradually it seeds around, so it's spreading out. Quite a few not flowering, but Hopefully the good growing season, all the non-flowering ones will get up to flowering size. Very typical in our garden the way we grow. A plant starts out in the bed. I think my shadow's blocking it here. I can't get out my shadow because the sun's right behind me. But down there's the little wall, that's the raised bed. And there's the Eranthis that I planted there. And this is the path. All the Eranthis, the plants choose to go into the path. I come out of the way like that. Oh no, there's trees blocking the light as well, so it's not just me. Let's go up this way. I'll try and pick my way gently through the path, which has become difficult to get with all the seedlings. Up to the back of this bed that's just waiting. You can see how well mulched it is. Here just with leaves, I just leave the leaves to mulch. And we've got iris. This is iris, one of the hybrids that are related to the Danfordes. So this is that's Iris, Sela and Germany, and this is one that I split up a few years ago. I don't like them when they get clustered clumps because you don't see the purity and the beautiful shape of the flowers. So here's another, and there's another over there, so, and another over there. So I break them up and spread them out. And in there's all sorts of different. There's a hybrid between the cowslip and the primrose. And over there, the bigger leaves, Primula auricula itself. If I come down here, this is the Galanthus warrenoi. This is Elizabeth Harrison. So it's a warrenoi with yellow markings and yellow ovaries. And down here is one of the warrenoi with green tips. So there's all sorts going on in here. Oh, this is EA balls. What did I stand on? Oh, an old pot that's got blown about. Down here, the cyclamen comb. In another moss bed. And we just go over there, you go up to the snowdrops. And trying to link areas in the garden so these snowdrops leap across the path to those snowdrops. And they leap round and take you up, your eye up to the next bed. So we'll just come round to this one, and here we have warrenoi, Galanthus warrenoi. And its seeds are round as well. I'm not a fanatic on snowdrops. I love bulbs and I love variation, but I'm not big in keeping names, and unless they're very, very distinct. So this is just one of the yellow forms of something that's related to plicatus. So these I do know are the Dryad Gold series that Anne Wright of Dryad Nurseries has raised there. I'll show you more of those further down. They're great plants. Really good. There's a whole series she's named. And I don't keep the individual names once they go in the garden, but I'm sure I could work them out if I looked at Anne's detailed descriptions. then if we just come up round here, this is the cobble bed, just right beside the steps going into the the house. And there's one or two snowdrops in here, so there's some more of the, these are more of the Dryad Gold series. They really are beautiful little plants. There's the first of the Narcissus cyclamenius coming out. There's a green marked snowdrop there, possibly trumps, and of course the Eranthis. The Eranthis start here, and your eye goes all the way up there, and then I continue that sort of pattern going round the garden by scattering seed every year, just extending the Yellow River. Now we'll walk up in to this area, to the troughs and the slab beds. Of course the troughs are not really waking up yet, but this big slab bed is starting to waken up. More of the Dryad Gold. I like them because they stay quite, although they're robust, they stay in scale for this bed up here. So you get lovely little scenes like that with growing in the rocks. And this is Eranthis Guinea Gold up here. And then there's all sorts of other bulbs I've been planting in this bed recently. Quite a lot of little Narcissus, Asturiensis and Minimus and Cyclamenius all up here. I'll move round to this one. There's not so much weird bulbs out here just now, but there's some Crocus abatensis getting a bit chewed by slugs. These beds haven't been tidied yet. I have to get all those leaves off. But to be honest, it's not been weather to get out and do it. Here in the Erythronium beds, it's Iris Catherine Hodgkins. Related to the Sheila, sister seedlings to the Sheila Ann Germany that I showed you over there, and probably more familiar because it's more commonly offered, although I prefer the purer colour of Sheila Ann Germany. But it's really lovely to see these, see them coming up. Corydalis malcensis seeding around here as well. And of course the earliest of the Erythroniums, I can see the leaves just coming through. There's one of the earlier dens canis. But it's very much, it's white is the dominant colour. Down to some of the areas of Eranthis that are spreading. You can see all the seedlings around 1-year-olds, so that you got just the twin baby leaves, the first seedling leaves, and then the various ages of foliage. And it takes about 3 years just leaving them to do it themselves for them to go from seed just germinating to getting a flower. And again, the ground's all well mulched. I haven't mentioned the Leucojums. There's plenty of Leucojums we've walked past. You may have noticed them as we go by. This is the Podpalozzi form. Leucojum vernum, var carpathicum, Podpalozzi. Yellowish tips rather than very green, and when it's growing nicely and not overcrowded, you'll get the 2 flowers on a stem. Lots of leaves of the crocus, but a lot of these crocus are just look like leaves and aren't flowering. These are the autumn flowering ones, so these are the leaves building the corm up, and will build the bulb. They build the flower bud for next year. These are more of the Dryad Gold series. Here in this bed I've got those more little crocus, mostly Thomasinianus. Here's a lovely primula, auricula. There's hepatica seedlings in here as well. But really lovely little communities like this. So we've got the early bulbs, and then a bit later the primroses, the auriculas, primula auricula will come out. When you allow plants to seed as well, you get a very natural effect. So we've got this wee Corydalis caucasica, not the most showy species in the world. A delicate little species that seeds around, seeding down there and down beautifully through the crack, the crevice if you like, down into the path below. Very natural planting. And likewise here, the snowdrops up there, and with the rock they come down naturally through the rock, giving a very natural feel. And down below here, in what is principally the moss growing on the path, we've got the Corydalis seeding. And it takes me right to the nature that inspired me to become a gardener in the first place. More Eranthis. I'm starting to build them up into this bed to put a link up to the ones that are at my other side here. This is really the first time the Eranthis are going to start to get a chance to come out, because it's been too cold or wet for them to open their flowers. But they're coming out a bit today, so that's a real joy. All sorts. Here's yet more of the Dryad Gold, just to show you. I mean, we only started with a few and they just do so well. I just planted them out singly all over the garden, and they increase quite rapidly. Along with some of the wee blue bulbs but when you get a moment of light, if I can do this with this camera, I can't see where it is now. Okay, so there's that. There we are, lit up in the sunshine. It's very difficult with this camera to do what I can do with my other camera, still camera. Here in the path we've got, in the middle of the path is Eranthis seeding around in the gaps between the slabs. Corydalis all over, more snowdrops, colchicums and other bulbs for the autumn in there. Well, I see the leaves here of, well, this camera picked these up, an Erythronium americanum probably. all about there. These are young sort of seedling leaves, so it's maybe not Americanum. It could be, which would be lovely, Japonicum seedlings. That would be great, because I've never managed to get self-seeding in the garden with Erythronium japonicum. I've had the seeds germinate in pots, but not in the garden. So I just move round here. I did have this area tidied. You might not believe it, but we've had so much wind and storms and gales. Leaves have got blown about again. Whereas this area up here is still to get a bit of a tidy. This is up to the new bed by the pond, as I used to describe it, which is probably pushing on for 10 years old. Here we've got the first of the Erythronium caucasicums. Little self-seeding groups, really pretty. Eranthis guinea gold. A well-chewed Iris reticulata. And masses of Narcissus cyclaminius and other little plants that are still to come out that we'll look at in a future video when they come out. And so we come back up, we're at a slightly higher level here, looking down over the wall that we looked up the last time. The Sarum europaeum given ground cover, and it grows right into the depths in the dark in there, which is good. I want stuff to grow in there. There's a heap of snowdrops, a lot of Galanthus nivalis, so they tend to come a wee bit later. And also they're in the shade, so it's a bit shady. This rhododendron I've been cutting back by degrees, really good growth down below, so I may pluck up the courage later this year once we've enjoyed the flowers to take those stems back and encourage it to be small, and do the same with some of the others that are showing willingness to bud back. So we're almost there, we've almost completed a bit of a circuit. Come back down to finish up and looking at this bed where we saw a wee bit ago with the moss. And each, as I say, everything in the garden's almost a experiment in habitat. What can I do here? What will happen if we leave it? So we'll just see, and I'll share the results on my videos and my bulblog diary on the, which you'll find on srgc.net. Just look for Ian Young's bulblog, and you'll find over 1,000 editions of the bulblog going back 23 years. So thanks if you've stuck with me for this, thank you very much. I hope to be back again maybe in the next few weeks or a month, because there's got to be a lot more happening in the garden for me to share with you. So until then, enjoy your gardens, enjoy the spring, and I'll see you next time. Bye.